I would like to do more close-up whispers for this one. Maybe a little cupped every once in a while. Less mic brushing and just more like fun and hanging out. My voice is really suffering from all of these videos, so I'm gonna be drinking a lot of water and I'm gonna be having just like a really nice snack. Just peaches. Actually, my favorite snack ever is peaches. So, hindsight, now that I realize I'm eating, I should take that gum out. I'm leaving all this in. I just think it's funnier, more natural. I'm feeling very witchy right now. But let's just get into it today. So get yourselves nice and comfortable as we dive into some 15 spooky Reddit stories. It says 15. I might not even be reading all of them because some of them might suck. But let's get into it. If you don't like food, you're not gonna like this video. Sorry. I just really liked the crunch of the chip last time, but it did make my voice like more harsh because it was like it was just dry, you know. So anyway, with Halloween around the corner coming up, accurate to our town, things that we'd never known or cared about as well. And long story short, this spirit claimed it was a 10-year-old boy who had died on the property in the 1800s and was buried there in an unmarked grave. My friend's house was on a farm at the edge of the town. We were all a little freaked out because the board had never really been that detailed and consistent. So, like, maybe your new friend's really good at this. However, we were all skeptical, and we were all assuming one of us was just trying to scare the rest, right? Finally, my friend asked the spirit if it could do something to prove he was there to us. It said yes, and then spelled out knock. Then the planchette had stopped moving. We all stared at it silently, and then there was a tap, tap, tap on the window right next to us. The lights were on outside, and there was absolutely no one there. We never touched that effing board again. I love that. I also wouldn't anyway. No thank you. Goodbye. That's what you're supposed to do. Goodbye. Ugh. Redditor Call Me Egg shared a horrific tale. Growing up, my bedroom was the only one that faced the front of the house / street. When I was about 8 or 9, I'd woke up to my dad calmly but firmly telling me to get up, go to the bathroom, and shut the door. I was annoyed because I was half asleep, but I listened. Apparently, I was more tired than I'd realized because I'd fallen asleep on the bathroom floor. The next morning, I asked my mom what happened, and she seemed obviously oblivious and confused. I looked at my dad like she was crazy and asked him why he'd woken me up, but he denied doing it. I became frustrated to the point of tears, but ultimately I'd let it go. Fast forward to college when I was home again, and I decided to ask again. I have thought of that night on and off for years, and it still bothered me. This time my dad goes, "Ha! I was wondering if you even remembered that." It turns out that a lot of houses on our block were being vandalized and robbed all those years ago. Someone had broken into the garage and was actually inside the house. My room was partially over the garage. My dad heard it happen and quietly got me to safety. Police were called. The guy ran, and he was never caught. However, my parents didn't want a terrified child on their hands, so for years they pretended like nothing happened. It's nothing supernatural, but unsettling for sure. So you don't want your kids scared of people breaking in, but you're cool with them being like, "I'm crazy." No, that was rude. Has your parents ever done that before? Like, tried to protect you, but just like messed you up in the process? Leave a comment, because that's funny. I guess I don't know. Every parent is just trying their best. Everyone's a first-time parent, you know? Okay. This one comes from Reddit user John Second. So, this did not happen to me, but to my sister. Her husband and her had just had their first child a few months prior. My brother-in-law was working the graveyard shift at his job, as my sister stayed home taking care of my nephew. Around 2 a.m., she heard loud knocking on her back door. She'd went to go check it out and saw a lady banging on the door asking for my sister to let her in. The lady told my sister that her husband had just beat her down the street and was looking for her. My sister was hesitant to let her in since she had a newborn in the house and didn't really want to interfere with that type of scenario. And she told the lady that the best she could do would be to call the police for her. The lady told my sister to not do that, but just let her in. And this is where her sister got suspicious. She went to grab the phone and call 911, but the lady was then gone. The police arrived a few moments later and told my sister that the same situation had happened a few streets down. Apparently, couples would do this act together to get into people's homes. I'm sure this is common, but having it happen to my sister and nephew creeps me out. Okay, this kind of, I had a similar scenario myself growing up. It was New Year's Eve, and this couple was like blackout drunk, and I remember it so well. It was a little bit, I was young. I was like maybe 11 or 12. And this couple came to our door. This girl, she was like fake crying. It's very obvious. And she was like, my boyfriend was like abusive to me and stuff. And my mother, single mom, she's like, oh my gosh, let me help you. And she sat on the doorstep. And the girls was like, can I just come in? Can I just come in? And my mom's like, no, like my daughter's in there. Let's just leave them alone right now. I'm totally watching. Because that's what you do when you're young. You give your parents no personal space. And this chick was like crying and chilling there, but not really crying. And I remember she just kept trying to come in. And then I remember my mom saw the chick's like boyfriend sitting at a dumpster really nearby, just smoking and watching the two of them, as if he was like waiting for her to get the in. And then my mom went inside and was like locked the doors and was like, get the F away from my house. And the chick like left, and she wasn't crying. She was just like, I remember that really well. I also remember when I love that I'm just telling stories about me now. This is why I like these videos, it's just fun. I also remember I was driving with my first boyfriend in high school. He had the most like basic name ever. I'm not like 70s name was Chip. Hi Chip. So silly. And we were driving over a bridge, and it was like the middle of the night. We would just like drive around and look at the stars. We were like young, right? And a car in front of us slammed its brakes, but kind of like moved in front of us so that we couldn't move when we tried to, which was weird. His girlfriend hopped out of the truck and was like losing it and trying to get our attention. And as we drove by, like slowly, did not hit her. Her boyfriend was like, let her in your car, man, make sure she's okay. And we were like, no, like you guys are doing something weird right now. People are crazy. I don't know, you know, people are crazy. Be careful, you never know. Okay, this one is by Number of the Beast. And their stories are about strange occurrences in their home. So, when I was in high school, I'd had a lot of these experiences. At my house my dad lived in at the time, that was built in the 1800s, there was plenty of times I'd be sitting in the living room and distinctly hear the cabinets opening and closing in the kitchen. I'd freaking hate that. Get out of here. Anyway, it was just me and my dad that lived in the home, and you could clearly see when his bedroom door was shut and he was asleep, but still hear it. Normally my dad worked a 7 to 3, but occasionally worked a PM or overnight shift. Overnight. I said that funny. One night he was working till 11, and I was 17 at the time, and it was around 8 p.m. or so. assumes that my dad had gotten back home early and started to play Borderlands. I don't know what that is, but it just makes me laugh. I kept hearing the steps, so he paused his game and listened. And the footsteps slowly paced back and forth between the living room and kitchen in a very steady rhythm. I hate it. I laid in my bed, scared shitless. I love this. Wait, where'd that go? And eventually started counting the steps. Every time it took 15 paces to the living room, it would take 15 paces back to the kitchen. Needless to say, I did not effing sleep all night. I'm moving this, ignore me. Yeah, no doubt, dude. I had another situations at my mom's house about 2 years prior to this. Out of nowhere, my alarm clock would go off at midnight every night, and I'd assumed that it was busted and got rid of it. Fast forward 2 years, and my mom gets another brand new one. Suddenly, it goes off at midnight, but I just thought nothing of it and turned it off. This happened again, and my sister pointed out that she had one that did it as well. So I checked to make sure no alarms and double checked again at 11:56 that nothing was set so they would not go off. Sure enough, they did. Midnight on the dot. Freaked, I threw it out, and the next night, when I was at my dad's, a buddy of mine was over, and my dad was working that night. He'd left for work around 2 a.m., and my friend had brought over an iPad dock to listen to music. This didn't have a clock set or anything like that, and my friend was very unaware. I never told him about all of the things that were happening, so I knew he wasn't messing with me. So about 2 minutes after my dad leaves, we hear an alarm clock coming from my room. I went in, and you know how if you just plug in a clock without setting it, the numbers just blink on and off? While it was doing that, as I picked it up, the clock set itself to midnight and then turned off itself. Now, I think that those clocks actually do that on purpose. It's just coincidental that kept happening, but I'm pretty sure they automatically start at noon or midnight so that you can set them easier, but I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe we got some clock makers in the chat. I doubt it. You never know. People might know. Oh yeah, it's got, we'll have a good peach, canned peach and water. Okay. Oh dear. Alright, let's keep going. Reddit user AETT noticed that their mom's boyfriend was pretty weird. But one night they had an especially bad feeling. Anyway, about 5 years ago, my mom started dating a guy that she'd met online. That part's fine. I'd recently started dating a woman who would later become my wife that I'd met online, so I'll just refer to her as my wife in this story. Anyway, my wife never liked this guy. We didn't think he was mean or anything like that. Just a little creepy, quiet, and kept his eyes closed a lot. And occasionally did odd things like offering my wife a chocolate, but then popping them in his mouth and closing his eyes and moaning. So maybe he's just rude. One time my wife Christmas morning to visit my dad at his house. We didn't plan to spend the night at my dad's, but we'd gotten snowed in, which was actually a nice Christmas surprise. Christmas, wow. The next day, we left as soon as we could get through the snow, and my wife suggested that we stop by my mom's house on the way so that we could see if she was okay. My wife had just a really bad feeling about my mom's ex-boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend. So my mom's car was in the driveway, but that doesn't really mean much since she lives close enough to work that she could walk in at any point in time. And she never locks her door, which drives me crazy, so we let ourselves in. That's when we see blood oozing out of the refrigerator's water dispenser. It had filled up the container and was leaking onto the floor and had made a puddle. My wife screamed and I freaked out, fully expecting to see my mom's head in the freezer. I nervously opened, but all I found was a bag of cherries. Thought my mom was decapitated by her creepy ex-boyfriend. So that story was just nothing. This guy's just creepy, and like, your mom was like, I'm gonna break up with him. Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna do one more story. One more. Yeah. I was louder than I meant to. My voice hurts, guys. It's been a long 13 days now. Okay, last story. This haunted story goes to Reddit user Goatbusters BM. So 4 years ago, I lived in a very large farmhouse that was converted into 2 apartments.